Hey everyone, Chris Stegall here with MK Partners, and I'm joined today by Jesse Penaloza and Tom Chun. And today we are going to be taking a look at Sponsor Bingo, a little app that we built and debuted at Tahoe Dreamin this year to help, drive some. Well, actually, Jesse, I'll let you take it away. Tell us about Sponsor Bingo and why the app sort of came to be.
Oh, thank you. And yes, thanks, guys. Well, pretty much the whole idea came around, obviously, when you attend events, you try to figure out what's the best way to engage with the attendees, right? Because attendees sometimes don't want to go to the sponsor booths. They either want to go to their sessions or they're kind of in a hurry. Sometimes they don't want to hear those sales pitch. They want to find a way to leverage the information that they'll be able to get, but at the same time, enjoy their time there. So obviously, we wanted a way to kind of incentivize attendees to attend these events, and what better way than Salesforce was already doing this a while back, which is their little bingo card. But we kind of took a little step up and decided to create a sponsor bingo because the sponsors are the ones that contribute for the attendees to participate, find a way to reward them for actually visiting a sponsor booth, and then from there going to talk about and see whether or not there's a potential opportunity or interest. Obviously, we did this a lot last year in the paper format where we actually printed the cards, we actually bought stamps, we distributed to the sponsors, and then they had to go and stamp every single time. So we wanted to find a better way, at least a paperless way of doing it. And this is where this idea came around. So, Tom, can you kind of, I believe all this is, we kind of put all this together in Salesforce, correct?
Yeah, so that was a good explanation, Jesse. And basically taking it from there, I was working on developing this app to turn the physical bingo card into a more mobile app that can be used at an event. So basically, we built it out on a Salesforce experience site and synced it. So all of the inputs and everything you see there, the images, it all comes from the Salesforce org that we spun up. And basically, all of the data that users are inputting is also going back into that org and being stored there so that we can later run reports and things like that to kind of use that data in a way to allow sponsors to reach out and contact people that wanted to be contacted to get more information from each sponsor. So basically, the whole app is built through Salesforce, and we created a little mobile interface where users could be out there on the event floor, walking around and easily inputting data that we could then use to track kind of like people speaking to sponsors that could later be used for. I know the main purpose was to see who was visiting all the event booths and then getting rewarded with entering prize drawings and whatnot. So all that data was able to be tracked in the org that we used to create the Salesforce experience site as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom. And yeah, Jesse, sort of what you alluded to. If you attended Tahoe Dreamin or Midwest Dreamin last year, you'll remember Sponsor Bingo in its physical form, where everybody filled out a little postcard and all the sponsors had stamps. And at the end, those all had to be collected and organized and drawn, and then data entered. And so, like Tom was saying, having this all in an org so that we can just run a report, see everybody who's entered, see everybody who has met with each sponsor. And we can jump into a little bit of a product demo here. Um, Here is let's get my face over here. Okay, so here is, all over the event, there were QR codes for Sponsor Bingo. Folks would scan the QR code, it would land them on this page for Tahoe Dreamin, where they would enter an email address that would be their registration email. So let's do one that I haven't registered yet with the Bingo app. All right, and then here it is. You could see all of these sponsors show up. And basically the way it worked is you would visit a sponsor booth. There would be some sort of activity that you would need to do to get your square checked off. For some of them, it was, drop a business card. For others, it was take a free keychain. Maybe it's like watch a 30-second demo, et cetera, et cetera. And then once you had done that, you would be given a little passcode by the sponsor that you could enter in. So for Mambo Merge, a passcode was Let's Dance. And if it was something that you were interested in following up on post event, you could check the little contact me box. And so that gave a little more insight versus the old way with just the stamp collection on physical cards. because there was no way to know who was interested. You only had one card per person. You couldn't give it to every sponsor. And so there was no way to indicate who you wanted to follow up with after the event. Um, Also, for sponsors that weren't present or that didn't have a activity that needed to be fulfilled, there were free spaces. So for those, you could just get a free square as opposed to filling in a word. And like Tom was saying, um, the sponsors could adjust their word uh, in org. So, let's say your Mambo merge and somebody jumps on the event Slack and says, oh, the code for Mambo merge is this. And now nobody's coming to the booth because they're all just getting the word. You could change the word on the fly. So you don't have to worry about, stealing a stamp like in the old days either. Um, this is a quick look at it. Actually, let me show you what it looks like on a phone screen, because that's actually what it comes down to. Everyone at the event is going to be on their phones, obviously. So Tom made sure this was responsive, easy to use from a phone perspective. For Mambo Merge, was the activity at Tahoe Dreamin, was that where everybody was doing the pose?
Oh, yes. So that was one of the neat things, obviously, right? We wanted to kind of leverage the opportunity. So each sponsor had the opportunity to kind of determine what activity they want to have. And for Mama Merch, we kind of came up, you can kind of see the logo right there for Mama Merch. We decided to create a post. So we had people actually replicate that post with myself or Chris or anybody else in the booth there to kind of create that two-man post where everyone would kind of raise their hand up and kind of have, kind of create that heart shape at the same time, indicating both the fact that Mama Merch is very supportive and friendly staff, and we're here to kind of help you out. So that actually drew a lot of engagement and interest. So something we're looking forward to kind of bringing to these upcoming events that will be taking place in these next few weeks. And some of the other sponsors had to do their own thing as well. But I thought that was really neat and interesting because it was something different and it caught on. I guess people like to have that interaction with each other, and seeing that this is a year that we're having more events and actually having more people attend. The numbers were up for the Tahoe Dreaming versus last year, and as things been transitioning through COVID and everything else has been going on, it's a nice thing to see that kind of bring things back to where they were before.
That is true. And yeah, so oh yeah, and then one other little detail that was on here. Every bingo card had a card number on it. And that was also captured in the org. So you could tie somebody's card to their email address. And that also meant, so at Tahoe Dreaming, if you had all of the squares checked, that meant you got a drink ticket for happy hour. Um, and having the personalized card numbers also helped prevent any sort of funny business of somebody screenshotting somebody's completed card, posting it on Slack, and then everybody using the same card. So some, you know, rudimentary precautions built in to avoid people trying to game the system, um,
Mhm.
and just a lot of perks over the old physical setup. So, thank you again, Tom, for building this. Thank you,
Yes.
Jesse, for organizing the sponsor bingo and specifically, spearheading this app with Tom. Um, and that's it. If you have an event coming up, Salesforce or not, and want to see sponsor bingo rolled out there, let us know. I'm sure we'd be happy to spin one up for you. And this is also a great example of one of those things where you take an existing process, you identify the weaknesses or the parts that slow you down, bog you down of it being manual, move it into a Salesforce org, automate it, pretty it up, put it onto people's phones instead of into their hands where they lose their cards, et cetera, et cetera. So, if you have a existing process that you need automated or designed or appified, also let us know about that. We're happy to jump on a call, do a little discovery, find out the details, and throw together an estimate on, how easy or how hard it would be to put something like that together. But the results sort of speak for themselves, as Jesse was saying. There's so many benefits to this. It's so much cleaner and nicer. Um, and yeah, it was fun to do, and it made the event fun. So thank you, Tom. Thank you, Jesse. And then thanks again for joining me today.
Awesome.
Yep.
Pleasure to be
Thanks,
here.
Chris.
Cool. All right, and thank you folks for watching. Do be sure to like and subscribe to the videos here. And as always, we will be back shortly with more Salesforce news, tips, tricks, etc. The winter 24 release notes should be going up next week, I believe, which by the time this video posts will be this week. So that's probably what's coming up next. Until then, keep working smart, hard, and happy, and we will see you in the cloud. Bye.
Right.